trying to do it right.
I don't really know if I believe in the existence of the American dream anymore. It was the goal of upward social mobility. You can come to America and you can move up, getting a good education, having a family, and buying a house, things like that. I feel like people have the idea of the American dream, but I don't feel like it actually exists. My dream is just to be happy and do that with my life. I love planning trips and traveling. In terms of like traveling abroad and everything, I've pretty much only been to places in Asia. I was in Vietnam for 4 months. I was in China for a month. I visited Hong Kong for a week. I really like the experience of being able to stay somewhere longer because I think eventually you feel less like a tourist.
Hey, Sophie!
I first went to Japan in the summer of 2013. My mom, she's a professor at a university up in Northern California, and she was invited to lecture at a university in Nagoya for about a week. And so my whole family, we all went along with her, and I really enjoyed sightseeing and then trying different foods and everything, and so it was a really enjoyable trip. Part of that program involves students in their dietetics department, and 2 professors come to where my mom works every summer. After the trip to Japan, I said to my mom, like, hey, can I help you out? It was 3 weeks long, and then I continued to do that the following 2 summers. So I've helped out with it 3 summers in total. At that time, I was planning on taking a semester off. I wanted to do something abroad. I did look into teaching English. I found the JET program. Then I thought that might be a good opportunity once I'm in my last year of college. That's when I kind of decided that I wanted to try working as a volunteer English teacher. I was 18 years old and I had to convince my parents to let me go somewhere for 3 months. And so I did a lot of research online and I found a lot of good reviews about traveling in Vietnam, so I decided on Vietnam. So I signed up for a 3-month-long volunteering project in Vietnam. When I was in Ho Chi Minh City, I was volunteering at a hospitality and tourism school. I was able to make a lot of friends at the school, like my students. I would go out with them for lunch and dinner, and they would always take me to try different types of Vietnamese food. By the end of my trip, I started keeping track of everything. I think I tried like over 100 different Vietnamese dishes. That was a really fun part of my experience in Vietnam. I really enjoyed my time in Vietnam. When I think about it, it's like the happiest I've ever been in my entire life. Like, I was just so happy all the time, and I really, really loved teaching English. It was just really fun getting to talk to people, and I was really interested in the cultural side, just more like comparing our lives, like how it was different. So I was completely sure that I was going to apply for the JET program. Through my experiences in Vietnam, I became interested in learning about other Asian cultures. When I would talk to some of my students about their favorite TV shows or favorite music, a lot of them would name Korean dramas or K-pop celebrities, and I didn't know anything about any of that. So I thought it was really interesting how popular Korean pop culture was in Vietnam. I had never really had Korean food before I went to Vietnam. And also I wanted to learn more about China because Vietnam has been a colony of China. Before I even went to UCLA, I had thought about minoring in global studies, and I looked at the study abroad programs they had for the minor. And so I thought that the Shanghai one was really interesting. I became interested in being involved more with the international student community. So when I started at UCLA, I found out about the Global Siblings program through the Docu Center for International Students and Scholars. And so through that program, they pair international students with domestic students to teach each other about their cultural backgrounds. So I was partnered with a visiting student from Waseda University in Tokyo, and we became really good friends. She was also friends with a lot of other Japanese exchange students, so I got to meet them too. During the summer, I stayed with my global sibling in Tokyo for about 2 weeks, and it was such a great experience. I also got to, participate in some summertime Japanese events, like a Bon Odori festival, and that was really fun. I guess my favorite thing about Japan is the physical landscape. I just think it's so gorgeous, and I know it's very mountainous and it's so green. I went on a road trip to Kyoto and going to Nara, and I just thought it was one of the prettiest places I've ever been. And so I'd say that's one big thing I love about Japan, is just how gorgeous it is. One thing that I think is really interesting about Japanese culture is the emphasis on seasons and seasonality. and its relationship to, different holidays and food and everything, and how the seasons can be broken down into even like smaller units. And so I know when I was planning my family's first trip to Japan, that was one thing that I learned about, and I think that was also like one reason why I wanted to spend an extended period of time in Japan, because I wanted to experience all the seasons in Japan, like, all the different holidays, festivals, and changes of food and everything. I took a class on the anthropology of food, and that class actually focused a lot on Japanese food culture. We did read one book on Tsukiji Fish Market, and so that was talking about seasonality and different types of fish and the importance of that. Just because of my time in Vietnam, where I had tried so many different types of Vietnamese food, after that I was literally like, every time like I travel somewhere, I just want to try as many different types of food as I can. And so after taking the anthropology of food class, then I really became more interested in learning about Japanese food culture, just because we had a lot of readings about Japan, and we watched a couple films, Japanese films, like one of them was Tom Popo, and so like kind of the relationship between food and gender identity, national identity, ethnicity, things like that. Also like one reading on bento boxes as an ideological state apparatus, which I thought was kind of interesting. And so it was definitely an interesting class, because I was in Tokyo over the summer. After having read the book on Tsukiji, I was like, I have to go there. And so I went with two of my Japanese friends, and it was really fun. Basically, you just get to see the tuna options and stuff, and then we had sushi for breakfast at like 7 a.m. So the application for the JET program was released in October of 2015. I had 1 month to get everything together. It was pretty nerve-wracking. I heard back at the beginning of January, and I heard that I got accepted for an interview. February 1st, I had my interview in Japantown here in LA. I did have to do like a mock lesson, and that went horribly. I was supposed to explain Christmas, and then I was basically supposed to pretend that the panel, they were all like junior high students, and so then I think I said I said that Christmas was a religious holiday, and then they were like, oh, what does religious mean? And I failed at trying to explain that. And so then they were like, okay, you can be done now. And I was like, okay, that's it. I guess I'm not going to Japan. The first week of this quarter, I was just checking my email during one of my lectures, and then I saw that I was shortlisted, which basically means I've been accepted to the program, and they are assigning me to a contractor within Japan. And so I was very happy. And so now that's come true, and I'm moving to Japan in July, so it's really exciting. I should definitely gain some Japanese language skills, because right now I'm at very, very low level. So it's basically useless. I can introduce myself, I guess. I can say like, hajimemashite, watashi no name wa Sophie Franku desu, yoroshiku onegai shimasu. And then like, I don't know, it's just other stuff like UCLA no gakusei desu, 4年生 desu. This sounds awful. I don't want to say anything anymore. I can't speak Japanese. No. The people that I've met have been, very kind and polite. My first day in Nagoya, it was raining, and I was with my family, and then there was this couple, and they each had an umbrella, and then they gave us one of their umbrellas. And so, I don't think anyone would have, I've never experienced anything like that in the U.S. And other people I've talked to who have visited Japan, I talked to 3 other people, and they said that all happened to them, like someone just gave them their umbrella. And so, I feel like, that's different from what you would experience here. And I know one other big thing was just how clean it was. Just, because I'm from San Francisco, and San Francisco is a pretty dirty city. When I was in Nagoya, I was shocked at how clean it was. They didn't have, like, trash cans anywhere. And I was like, how does this work? And I never saw any trash on the ground. I think that was pretty different for me. This is kind of awesome how clean it is, just in comparison to, like, cities in the U.S. If I end up coming back to the U.S., at least within the next couple of years, it will be for graduate school. I have looked into different programs that I'm interested in. I'm still not sure if I want to go to graduate school. I really want to find a career where I can live abroad or spend a lot of time traveling. If Donald Trump wins the election, which I don't think he will, I'll be living in Japan. So then it's like, maybe I won't come back for a while. Maybe I'll become a Canadian citizen. We'll see. I don't know.